What's going on YouTube? It's Jesse coming back to you with another video. In this video, I want to talk about the pros and cons of inbound closing. Now, this channel, we mostly talk about emails, writing emails for clients, but I want to talk about becoming a closer, where you close deals over the phone. And what are the pros and cons of it? Why would you do that over writing emails? Before we dive in, if you're not part of our free Facebook group, would recommend you go get inside below. Would love to have you in there and network with people that have the same mentality as you, as well as book a free call below too if you'd like to chat about potentially enrolling into our HFM program, where we will micromanage you start to finish, making sure you don't make any dumb mistakes that could screw up everything before you even started. And especially when you're going through the process, there's so many little micro questions people get. We're there in the shadows helping you through all of that. Here's how to set up your whole brand. Oh, that profile picture looks like shit. Here's how to set up your social media accounts. Here's how to outreach. Here's your offer that you should offer. Here's the messaging. Here's the templates, right? If you go and try and do all that on your own, every time you get to that new step, you're going to question and probably sit there for a day, 2 days, 3 days, debating on what you should do. And that's just wasted time. You might even choose something that doesn't even work, and then you waste a week, a month trying that out. We're there to make sure you copy and paste a system so you don't waste all this time. But here's the pros and cons of closing. So with closing, the biggest pro that you're going to see is it's a pretty easy sale to a business owner. For example, you go pitch emails and you want $2,000 a month. That's a hard sale. You need a really specific kind of person. They're going to want to see case studies. They're going to want to see proof that you can actually do what they need done, because they're about to fork over $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month is a lot of money, and they're giving it to you with the hopes that you'll make them that money back. And if they don't see confidence in you, they don't see case studies from you, there's a very high likelihood that you're not going to get the sale. But with inbound closing, it's different because you get paid from the results that you bring them. Now, you might ask, okay, well, what about a PFP model, which I spoke about in my previous video, where you get paid for performance for email? Well, with email, you have to nurture, not with inbound closing. The pro about inbound closing is it's immediate, and you're not getting paid a retainer. You're getting paid a commission. So you start getting paid the day you start. The day you get on the phone with these people that are booking calls with your client is the day you start making money. It's very quick. The calls are already there. You don't got to go whip up these calls. They're flooding in. So that's the main pro. It's very fast money. You just got to find a client, right? So you got to do the same amount of work you would do for email, but the offer's a little bit better. But remember too, everyone and their mom wants to be a closer as well. So you got a big competition. So you got to figure out a way to distinguish yourself, which can either be by getting sales training and pitching that in your outreach, saying, hey, I got sales training. It could be past sales experience. So I was doing solar, right? The other thing you can do is find lower volume clients to start out with. Clients that don't have the kind of traffic that these big guys got. Clients that only got maybe a call a day, maybe 2 calls a day. So what, right? Yeah, it might not be the volume you want, but let's just say you get a guy that's selling a program for $3,000 and you get 10%. You only get 1 call a day. Let's say you close at 50%. That's 5 calls a week. That's an extra, let's just say an extra $600, $800 a week, right? It's not bad to get a shitty client that doesn't have the volume, to get your feet wet, start learning, get a script how to close these deals, which I have a video on this channel, or multiple videos, explaining exactly the script you should be using. So that's what you should do, is find shittier clients, because I guarantee you, if you try to go find clients that are the big names, they've got ads and they're recruiting up the ass. They got tons of people. They've got 60 people trying to get the same role. Good luck competing, especially if you're brand new, have 0 experience. You got to find people that are untapped, away from all that mess, the big guys. People that are smaller, because they won't have heard of them. They'll give you a shot. They won't be so uptight about their numbers because they're newer, but they still want to get off the phone. So that's the big pro, again, is you're going to get, so back to the pros and cons. The pro is it's fast money. Get your first roll, you're on the phone, you're closing deals. Very quick. Another pro is you can work from anywhere in the world, as long as you have phone service and internet. You do need internet because you will be on international calls, or the client might want you on Zoom. So you need internet. Another pro I'd say is not only is it fast money, it's good money. You're going to make more money doing that than if you were to go, you know, do DoorDash. Nothing wrong with doing DoorDash, doing like, you know, really, really low tick freelance work. But with inbound closing, it's a very high demand skill, but it also takes a really unique kind of individual that can get on these calls and close deals, has good sales experience. So you're going to make more. Remember, what distinguishes you is you know how to cold outreach. If you get, you know, watch my YouTube videos or get in our program, you know how to outreach and actually get people that get on calls to have you be their sales closer. So that's where you can stand out from all these other people that want to make money, you know, from the internet, essentially, is by learning how to get these people on calls, sell yourself that you're a sales closer, get the role, actually sell, because you can watch my YouTube videos on how to sell, and boom, you're making an extra $1,000 a week with a shitty client. Imagine what you can do with a good client. You can leverage that experience of that shitty client to get a really cool client that'll pay you a lot more. And these closers can make from $10,000 to $50,000 a month as a closer, which imagine, you know, if you got a role eventually, given enough years where you're making $50,000 a month selling someone else's program, you don't even need your own business. So those are the pros. And it sounds all great, and it is great, but the cons are there as well. I would say the biggest con is being on the phone all day. Now, a lot of these closer guys online, they're doing the ads, teaching people how to be remote closers. They're going to make it seem like you're on calls for 3 hours, 4 hours a day, and you're living the life. Now, that is true for some roles, but you're going to get roles where the client wants you to just hammer out the calls and just be there all day long. And if you don't fulfill that, if you don't put in those hours, they're going to find someone else that will. So you are going to put in the hours. Now, depends on the client. Again, it could be a client that has no calls. Obviously, you're going to do less hours, but you're going to make less money. So it's all about finding that balance, that perfect client that'll pay you really good. They're not going to pay you shit. They're going to give you a decent volume that you can have work-life balance. And they're cool too. You don't want to work for an asshole client, right? So the only way you're going to be able to, get all those factors right is by putting in the time and effort and finding these people and outreaching and, getting experience. But that's one of the biggest cons is always on the phone. If you're trying to do something, if you're trying to go somewhere, you're going to have to leave whatever you're doing to go do that call. And you got to have somewhere quiet, right? You can do it where it's loud, but you got to make sure that the conversation goes to the flow that your client wants, which usually means finding a room of some kind. Or if you're just at home, then it's no big problem. But you have to have it so it's quiet enough so you can get on a call, whereas with email, digital stuff, you can do it fully remote. No one's going to know what you're doing. You just type, right? Another con is you have got to do the call at the designated time. You can't just bust out all the work in 1 hour of the day, right? You have to literally make sure you're awake at that specific time. So it's not quite full freedom. If you got calls that are coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you've got to be up and ready. It's not quite, sleep into whenever you want vibes. It's more like you got to hustle. And if you got a call that comes in at 9 o'clock at night, let's say your client has that window of time open, they're going to want you to close those deals that late, because some people that are working jobs or people that are just the consumer, they book calls whenever during the day. So that closer needs to be flexible and understand that they can't just wait on all their work and then submit it whenever they want or do the work whenever they want. It's a set time. You got to do it. Another con I would say is, these calls are not chill. They're high pressure. You've got to be willing to be that kind of person that you can put up with that and understand that you can't just get lazy. You can't go off the script because the last call was an asshole, right? You have to be able to keep a steady energy level throughout the day and keep your performance consistent. You can't be emotional. People that are emotional will get fired. Your client will not want to work with you if you are being a dumbass on calls that should have been closed because you didn't want to follow the script. You were in a bad mood that day. The last call didn't go well, so your butt hurt. That ain't going to fly for long. The client's going to catch on, and they're going to fire you. not really fire you, but get rid of you. You're an independent contractor. So those are the main pros and cons that I would say for inbound closing. That might be the right path for you if you're watching me, or it might be email, or it might be setting. But really at the end of the day, you have to decide based on all the pros and cons what you feel is best for your specific situation. Pick one and run with it. Again, make sure to get into our free Facebook group where you can network with people, where we talk all about this stuff. And then you can also book a call below if you'd like to chat with me or one of my team members about potentially enrolling into HFM, where you'll learn how to do all this stuff. You'll learn how to be a closer. You'll learn how to be an email copywriter. You'll learn how to be a setter. And then you can pick whichever one you want to do. You can do them all at the same time. You might find a client that needs all of them. And make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my future videos.